I don't know. I think when we young, we tend to we label everybody as friends. I don't know why we do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear my kids say it like, yo, that's my friend. It's like, but we always we use that word so loosely without actually knowing the definition of friend. Since Houdini, because that's a timeless song. If you listen to the song, it basically tell you what a friend is. And if you listen to that song and you go by that song, you really can determine if you really got friends in your life. And you know, friends from what I know is people that's aligned with you or supportive of you, and that support goes both ways.
Right.
And that's between men, women, or even cultures. You know, we could be friends of a culture, you know, or not. But I think we use that term friend so loosely that we don't if you think about the word friend right now and you do a checklist, it'd be safe to say a lot of us don't have friends.
Right. Right. Because I think,
Not by the definition, I say that. Not by the definition, we don't.
I seen this thing where as though if you had a friend, if you told them something, it's supposed to die right there, right? Because it's between y'all 2 not have legs and be carried on to the next. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It should stop right there. It should never go any further than y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because it's if you wanted everybody else to know, you would have had a conversation with everybody. You had it with your friend, and your friend should honor what you're saying. You understand what I'm saying? Or if your friend, like, just say if you brought something to me, right, and I wasn't really 100% sure on how to advise you on moving forward, right, and as your friend, I should give you the respect enough to say, hey, do you mind if I run this past X, Y, and Z?
Absolutely.
And just get their feedback on it, because I really don't want to. I don't want to seem biased in giving you my honest opinion, because I know that you value my opinion, and as a friend, you know, I want to make sure I'm giving you the best advice
I could give.
that I can give you. You know what I'm saying? And I think what I know how this came up. And I was asking the question: do you think that friends give each other flowers whenever they do something good? You understand? So, or if you see something, just say like, "Yo, I see you growing in this particular area, and I wanted to give you your props for because that was very honorable of you to just say that was me, or I was very honored. That was and or me saying, yo, I see the growth in you. Or I see where you took that situation and you turned it around, or you did it X, Y, and Z, as opposed to being more aggressive, more negative towards it. You know what I'm saying? And I think, do we feel like that those kind of things are being done in friendships nowadays?
Yo, no, to be honest with you. That's why I'm crazy that you say that, because as you saying that, I'm tallying down people I need to take off my list, because I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. It's interesting that you say that, because most of the people not only do they not say that to their friends, but they don't say that to their family members.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have to question, you're not even friends as your family.
Nah, not even. And what made me think about this is I had a friend. It was a mutual friend. I don't want to, bring him up, but, for the sake of the show. But a mutual friend, and I constantly say to him all the time, it was a situation that, where we had some friends, and they continuously, at one point they were talking bad.
Okay.
Right? Talking bad, behind our back. And then something happened to one of the friends, and then my friend was like, well, what I'm saying, should we, they came to me and they wanted to know, like, if we could get together and put some money in the card. They just had a death in their family, right? And I'm saying to myself, put money in the card, and then next thing you know, they talk about me after that, right? But this mutual friend was like, yeah, I know that, but you got to show growth, right? And so I gave them their props and their kudos and their flowers for displaying that kind of growth.
Yeah.
Because they not only talked about you, they talked about everybody
Yeah.
in the immediate circle.
Yeah.
But you stood 10 toes down. It was like, nah, I ain't gonna do him like they did me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be able to be
bigger than
that. And so I gave them they props, and that's what made me think about: do we do that enough for friends?
Mm-hmm.
You know, give each other encouragement, give each other their props when they're growing or when they doing things that are right.
That's amazing, and these are childhood friends, correct? You know, a lot of people don't have true childhood friends. You know, this past week, I've been hearing so many stories of what's called so-called friends between men and women. And I don't know why. People just feel like I'm a therapist or something. Because people just start venting. People start venting to me about what's going on in their life. And I oftentimes, the question I ask is like, is that somebody you really want to keep into your life? Because it sounds like they don't care about you. And then they still like, no, you know, that's just how they are. But at some point you got to grow, because y'all been like that since y'all was kids. And if y'all still like that as an adult, then you have to have a conversation with this person. And that's when I also shared with you that other than yourself, I only have one other true friend that where we really could talk about our differences. Like if I said something to offend or we disagreed on something, it never got ugly to the point where we had a falling out. If we distance ourselves, we come back in conversation and we talk, yo, I didn't like when you said this way, boom, boom, this is how I took it. And then I say the same thing. And like I said, that's why we talking about this now, because we think about it. People die over bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And they were by so-called friends. When you really could have had the conversation and sat and talked.
That's it.
Instead of it escalating into something else.
That's it.
And if you cared enough about that person on both sides, then it would be like, all right, we talking it out. It's agree to disagree.
Right. No, that's some of the that's like I don't want to say our mantra, but that's kind of like what we hold true amongst us, that group of friends that I have, is that everything is a conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't always have to agree with one another, but we need to respect each other's opinion. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And so if I'm able to come to you and give you props for what you did, you can come to me and say, no, the way you handled that was wrong. And I should be able to say, I may not like it at the point, or I may disagree, but if whatever it is, it's a conversation.
Exactly.
It's not worth throwing all the stuff, throwing the friendship away.
Exactly.
It's not worth throwing the friendship away when you can have a conversation. And think about it. Most rifts and tips and friendships for people that known each other all these years, 9 times out of 10, all it is a misunderstanding.
Exactly.
That's all that it is. It's a misunderstanding. You misinterpreted the text, or you misread the email, or you were so busy yelling you didn't hear me say this, or somebody brought you back some information that's not how I said it, or that's not how I meant it, right? And so you took it and ran with it. You understand? Or you read a post on social media and just assumed it was a shot at you or a dig at you, and you know what I'm saying? So all you have to do is just, at the end of the day, just we have a conversation, and once you get clarity and you understand what they really meant, and if you still feel the same way, then you're entitled to feel that way at that point. You know what I'm saying?
And also to add on that, because we always we seek input from people who are outside that immediate circle, and not giving the best advice, which what we call putting the battery in somebody's back. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. Now, if that person was a true friend, like I know I am, I would steer you back in your direction to you. I wouldn't say, listen, I could tell you what I think he meant, but I think you need to have a conversation with him or
to
her
get a better
understanding, because I don't want to feed the wrong thing to it. Rather than that, I just want to see the drama. Say, nah, he played you out.
Right.
You need to handle that. I'm not going to do that. Right. If you tell me that's my man, that's my brother, then I'm gonna honor that, and I'm gonna respect you enough to tell you. Then I think y'all need to have a conversation. And, that's what we don't do, especially in our community. Then my thing is, I don't think you can be a friend if you're not really a friend to yourself.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, if you love yourself enough, you know that there's good in you, and your intentions are honorable, if somebody takes something the wrong way, you don't have a big enough ego where they can't come back and tell you where you wronged them, because we always in denial of something. Right? We're like, well, nah, I ain't say it like that, but you don't know how it was given. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a robotic personality. I acknowledge that about myself. I don't really show emotion. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's part of my therapy. So sometimes if I give it to you in some ways, it might come across harsh, but it might be with the best intentions. And that's dealing with, like, if it's dealing with the opposite sex. So sometimes people could take what you say the wrong way, rather than just say, listen, what did you mean? How did you mean? Right. And then I could rephrase how I put it, because maybe sometimes it might come across harsh.
Correct. No, and that's a perfect segue, because my next point to that I was gonna say that, just like if you were able to come to me and get the hard truth from me, right? Saying that, oh no, I don't think the way you handled that was correct, or I don't like the way you went about that is correct, then I should be able to handle when you come to me the exact same way. Exactly. You get what I'm saying? Because I should never take it personal. We friends. You understand? You just you're giving me your opinion, and I think sometimes, a lot of times, what happens is people just tend to take things too personal. Right? And they tear up the friendship. I mean, you see people that have been friends for years and forever, and the relationship breaks up behind stupid stuff. Like, I give you a prime example. I was watching, and I never even knew this, that the reason why Cam and Mace separated or split, because Mace was charging him. Mace said he had to pay him
for the
to be in the video.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Look how simple that is. You know what I'm saying?
That's a conversation.
And that shit went for years.
Yeah.
I mean, kicking each other down, talking about this, da-da-da-da-da. And some people probably got hurt. I don't know if something like that happened.
I'm sure. You know what that sound like to me, though? It sound like, one, to your point, what we just talked about, lack of communication, one. Two, other people probably in Cam putting a battery in his back. When him and Mace had a relationship before outside of all of the other guys, even though they all had when it's like we grew up around the same people, but you have one that's the nucleus of all of y'all. So and that's who your relationship started with. So but they both feeling themselves. So rather than just saying, yo, let me go talk to him, because I understood why he did it. I think he should have talked to him though. Because it was recycling the dollar. That's what it was.
That's what he was trying. Right. That's the point he was trying to.
He didn't look at it that way, and then you got other people in your ear like, "Yo, he trying to play you out." When you really just recycling the dollar.
Whereas then you take a same scenario, same situation where you got a group such as the Locks, where they don't let that stuff come in between them. They handle it amongst them. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then they take it from there. You understand what I'm saying? And like any relationship is you can't. It's impossible to agree with somebody all the time. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense. It's impossible. So having disagreements, right? I remember somebody. One of my ex said, well, you really ain't my friend if we ain't have a drag down, knock down
fight.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We ain't go through nothing if you ain't my friend. You understand what I'm saying? You just a yes person or somebody that's around me.
The friendship hasn't been tested.
Exactly. So that's when I think that's, and so when you talk about relationships, in fact, and fostering relationships, not just platonic relationships you got to work at, but you have to work at friendships.
Yeah.
Relationships. Your friendships has to be worked at, because sometimes these friendships can be one-sided.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But then you got to question, is it really a friendship then?
Right.
Correct. If it is one-sided.
Correct.
Let me tell you something. I learned a lot this week. I've seen the best testament of friendship that I've ever seen, like live and in color. I won't say live, but I seen it in color. Was Kevin Hart and the Plastic Cup Boys.
Yeah.
That's the true testament of friendship, because when you talk about people that have been with you from the start of your career, from the start of your first going to a stand-up comedy club, and you keep those same people with you you argue with them, fight them. You go through a moment of where you transparent, but you have ego. You become an egomaniac, and then you still allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough that they could pull you back, and you listen to it. You know what I'm saying? You take it in because these are my friends. They not gonna tell me anything to hurt, and you still keep them because you know how many people would have been like, I don't need y'all on his level,
especially the money he was making.
Exactly. That's the true example of friendship. I don't see that at all. You know what I'm saying? Not where I come from. Even though it could exist, but where I come from, I don't see that at all. I mean, I think that's who I represent. You know what I'm saying? I think that's who I represent. I could speak for myself in that. Anybody that's a true friend to me will tell you that. I think when I pass and I go to the next life, I know on my eulogy, when people come up and talk, there's not going to be too many bad things that they'll be able to say about me. You know what I'm saying? I know I've left, I'm leaving, and I'm always going to remain to leave a mark with multitudes of people. You know what I'm saying? Of all walks of life. So, I know I could go today and know what's going to be said about me.
Right.
You know, so that I did have friends or the potential to have even more friends.
Oh, better yet, that I was labeled as a good friend.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I was labeled as a good friend. I was the kind of guy that I was dependable. People could call me when they needed me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Always gave good advice, sound advice.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Told you what you needed to hear, even if you didn't want to hear it.
Right. And not only that, but gave you, you know, what, like you said, what you needed to hear when you needed to hear, and stood firm for you whenever somebody came against you. That's another thing. Like when people come against you, like as a friend, do you allow somebody to talk bad about your friend? No, what kind of friend are you?
You allow it. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
you gotta denounce that.
Definitely, you gotta denounce it, and then you think. So then, when you think of it in that definition, you would say to yourself, "Well, how many friends do I really have?" When some people carry those type of things about you and run around town with those kind of things and tearing your name up, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so now on knowing this, and I encourage audience, anybody who's listening and watching, if you do a checklist of the people that you call quote unquote friends, and you do a checklist, and you see that these people don't, if it's a box of 5 and they only check 2, do you still keep them people in your life?
Well, nobody's gonna be 100%.
I understand that, but you gotta know, I guess, what adds value to you.
Right,
you know
right. What weighs more to you?
Because it gotta be more than just the fact that we grew up together. Because then you're dealing with somebody from a level of comfort.
Oh, yeah, that's superficial.
Yeah, so you have to know who your friends are, who you truly love, trust, and support. You know what I'm saying? Because we got into this conversation came because we was talking about lack of support that we give each other. Even just as a culture, because it's not just about intimate conversation. It's, there's friends in business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're friends because they support each other. Yeah. That's the key word in friendship, that we support each other.
Correct.
We don't always have to like the same things, right. But if we there for each other, we lack that heavily in the black community. We do not support each other. So it urges the fact that, are we truly friends?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And on that note, because even with people we call friends, like safe to say, if you got 25 people you call a friend, they probably don't even watch this channel. You know what I'm saying?
I guarantee. Or they probably watch it but not subscribe to it.
That too.
They probably watch it and not subscribe to it.
So. Or they won't shop in your store. Or they don't, which is why we would rather go to, and there's no disrespect to my Latin people, but we go to Mr. Gonzalez store.
Poppy.
Yeah, we'll go to Poppy's store, but when my homeboy opened up his store, he didn't really get that much foot traffic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we was going to Poppy's because that's where we wanted to go. We didn't want to quote unquote, make him rich. When it's really just recycling a dollar. If I support you, you support me. That's a friendship. That's an alliance. That's what the United States do.
Mm-hmm.
They form friendship alliances. That's what businessmen do. That's what any other culture of success, they all support each other. They call it, that's the friendship, and it's levels to being friends. You know, it's not just always about gossiping or shopping. It's not always about spending money, and if it involves spending money, it's I'm giving you, you giving me. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's recycling a dollar. I'm not going to give you $5. I'm going to give you $5 to make sure that you're successful. And in turn, what I'm doing, you're going to give me $5 to make sure I'm successful. That's really all it is.
I think and I think back over my life and times in my life when, you know, I had turmoil, right? And the people that I've called on in those times and stood 10 toes down in them situations, those what I consider to be real friends. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I remember calling you a few times back when I was going through the thing with you know, baby mama and all that. You know what I'm saying? And we talked all the time about that. You know, and I think those things, like, cause everybody is gonna have a different criteria or different checklist on what they consider their friend should be. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I think there's people that just was there, you know, whenever I was going through something, and was able to just be a listening ear. You know, whether it was calling you in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And never being shut down, and then you know, you trust people with that information, and then you hope that this information stays
right
there, but and not that it goes any further. And true friends, it won't. You know what I'm saying? That's true. It won't. You know what I'm saying? So I value that type of thing when it comes to friendships, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Definitely. You know what I'm saying?
Same, because, you know, we talk, we had some wild times, man. We and I mean, listen, I ain't have no place to stay in Atlanta. This man opened his door. I got laundry, you can wash your clothes, whatever, do what you do. He go to work, I'm there. If I needed the car, I got the car. I mean, you can't ask for, that's a friend. Because he could have been like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't got no room. But you do that, and you did it for so many people. If they showed up in town, like, listen, I can't afford a hotel, and I'm only going to be here for a day or two.
Hey, come
through.
And
I
matter of fact, you need me to come get you? Shit, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Shit, I'll come get you.
Exactly. So I have to give you yours for that, because you took care of a lot of people. And, you know, and I don't know how many people ever said thank you to things of that nature, but I'm here to say thank you right here live on. And
appreciate you.
Because I think that's to be admired, and it's something that is an example for us that we all should be doing for each other. But that's a form of friendship. That's a form of support.
Sorry for cutting you. I appreciate that. It just made me think about when we were just talking about how things get communication and things get misconstrued, right? And I brought something to you a couple of weeks back, and I said, somebody was thinking that y'all had a problem and this and that. And they came to the house and thinking that all these years, it was a problem. Even up until I had to fix it. Like, nah, that wasn't even about you. That had nothing to do with you. You understand? And all it took was just a conversation. And this person is an avid listener to the show, and never cleared the air. Never cleared the air.
And I'm approachable.
They felt some kind of way all these years, man.
And it's all these years. But that's when we grow up. It's now it's time to have grown man conversation. You know, one of the listeners, he was a guest on the show too. He's probably one of the only people that I don't see a lot, but when we talk, we talk. You know what I'm saying? It's whether I want to hear something, whether he want to hear something, we talk. And to this day, it's always like that. It's a whole. I know sides of this person that nobody else get to see. You know what I'm saying? So, and we talk about everything from A to Z. And if I'm wrong at something, or even with the show, if I said something wrong, he's the first to pick up the phone. You shouldn't have said that. Right. And then it's like, okay, I got you. This is what I meant. Next time I know I retract if I have to and come back. The same thing we do with any other editorial we do. If it's something we wrong, we come back and we correct it.
That's correct. So I'm curious to know if the people that are listening and the people that watches the show, do you really have true friends?
Yeah.
And granted, your siblings could be a friend, right? You can, but outside, we talking outside of your house, outside of your siblings. You understand? Because you're almost mandated.
Yeah,
to be their friend.
Forced, yeah, your parents
you're almost mandated to be their friend. But how many people really have truly, truly good friends? And you know, it made me just think about, you know, where they say that just because we family, you know, doesn't mean that, you know, I'm obligated to be with you or obligated to do everything you ask me. And sometimes we establish such a good friendship with people outside of our family that they become like family. You understand what I'm saying?
And they become family. That's what they always say. Family is who you deem family to be.
Correct.
You know, if y'all have that kind of alliance, that is your family.
Correct.
But yeah, that's a question. Like I said, I'm thinking about that now as we speak. Like, do we really have friends? Like, do you really have a friend? You know, you should at least have one. But it's good if you have many. I say this. I think in every level of your life, you should have a friend. And it doesn't. And again, a friend. What we're saying, audience, a friend is not somebody that you speak to every day.
But then again, when you say have many friends, I think less is best in that respect.
Well, the reason why I say this is because based on what you know, the definition of friends now, it's good to have friends in other places and other walks of life. Because let's say I like to travel. Everybody that I'm friends with, that I consider my friends, don't like to do certain things. So I might have a person that I'm good with where we could travel together. So and it not be your significant other.
So would that be a friend or associate?
That could still be a friend. Because it depends on the nature of the relationship. It's somebody that you
right, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, well, no, that would be a friend. Because it could be somebody I could confide in. We have that relationship. We don't speak every day. But I know, like, they open me up to some things, open up to some things. Like, I have a friend now I consider is a friend. He lives in Arizona. Like, he's from the Bronx, actually. But we talk regularly. I'm supposed to be going out there to see him. Whenever I'm out, whenever I do get with him, he take care of me. If he came to Jersey, I take care of him. I consider him a friend. He considers me a friend. When he went through something, he called me. And vice versa. So to me, that's a friend. You know what I'm saying? That's a friend. I think a friend is somebody that gives you what you need when you need it, and you can give them what they need when they need it.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And they wish nothing for the best, but the best for you. And he subscribed to the channel, by the way. So I can take that last shot.
I think about time. Knowing someone doesn't always constitute that person.
No, that's
being
true.
A good friend to you, right?
That's true.
And the reason why I say that, as we were talking, it just made me think about Sha Money. Shout out to Sha Money.
Shout out to Sha Money.
It made me think about Sha Money, and
she's a friend.
Yeah, she's a friend. And her relationship with old girl Ashanti.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's unique. Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy the way that whole thing fostered, the way the whole thing came about, everything, and you would think that they known each other over 20-some years. You would think the way they hang out, you know, their commitment to one another. You know what I'm saying? You would think that they went to school together and everything. You know what I'm saying? Grew up together, everything.
And you would be wild to know that there's a small age difference, but it just lets you know that there are people out here who really want to connect with people. And, you know, the one thing I can say that we could say about Sha Money is that she's not shy away from meeting people and sharing experiences, because she's out in the islands at least once a month.
And I would say too, to Sha Money, credit, she's very sincere.
Yes,
very sincere. Like, if she rocks with you, it's up. It's up, you know what I'm saying? But if she against you, it's up. It's still up, you know what I'm saying? It's still
That's
up.
That's a friend.
It's still up. It's still up. Friend. You know what I'm saying? But she's very sincere and intentional when she when she found somebody and somebody's a friend, she opened the floodgates for you.
We should have had a woman for this panel because it'd be interesting to see. Women are a little bit. I can't even say if it's more difficult, but it seems like they have a much difficult time with the friendship room than we do. And again, I could be wrong. I guess I just go by what I hear. You know, whenever you talk to a sister or just a woman in general, it's always the catty thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you don't really hear too many guys like, we say hate, but it's not, it's not as much as you with women. But yet, they still accept these people in their circle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't help but think we settling for people we consider friends because we're afraid to cut other people off, which is why I guess like what we say when we give Shy Money her flowers, because we watch the growth. We've known her for a long time. So we watch the growth, how she maneuvered in rooms, and I guess, and you and I have done that. So I just think like you have to level up. At some point, you could grow out of acquaintances. You can.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So you have to have true friends. True friends is people you can get on the phone. You don't know, like again, you don't have to speak to them every day. You could just get on the phone and say, hey, I need 1, 2, 3. If you can help me out here, okay, say less. Once upon a time we did business together, and the people that we called on was not people that we talked to every day.
That's
but
right.
They was right there. Look, what you need? All right, what time your flight leave? Okay, we see you right there. That's a friend.
But I think that like I said, it takes a lot of everybody's definition is different of friendship. Everything is subjective.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
And so it all depends on how you look at everything. But we would love to hear from you guys.
Absolutely.
On what
you think your friendship is
and how you value friendship. Do you still have friends in your life?
Yeah, true friends.
Hell, talk about the friendship that's been severed.
That too.
Why?
Yeah,
and
why?
It's been severed.
Was it one-sided? And y'all fist fighting? Did y'all get over it?
But then, by you telling the story, it would be one-sided because we don't know how the other friend feels.
So get them both of y'all.
Both of y'all right in.
Yeah, right.
So let us be y'all mediator and get y'all back together.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And you can hit us up at goingvocal@gmail.com. That's GOINVOCAL@gmail.com.
Word.
We love to hear it.
Definitely.
And on that note, it's your man Jam C.
It's your favorite Republican Lou.
We out.
Peace.
Everybody tune into the Pod Squad now.